AITAH. I can't forgive my husband for my labor experience. Part 1. I, 24F, have 2 children, 2F and 9-month M, with my husband, 29M. Labor was a nightmare with our oldest. She was an emergency, C-section due to being breech, and she was born at 36 weeks because they couldn't stop my labor from progressing. To make it worse, I did it all alone. My husband and I were both in the military at the time and were stationed 7 hours away from one another. I don't hold this against my husband because I know there was nothing he could have done to be there on time. He arrived about 5 hours after our daughter was born, and I finally wasn't alone anymore. Fast forward 2 years. I was due to have my son, and at 36 weeks on the dot, my water broke while I was at work. My husband complained about having to leave work to take me to the hospital because, are you sure it's really labor? It's probably just Braxton Hicks, relax. I told him, if you don't want to leave work, that's fine, I will drive myself to the hospital. But I'll make sure to let them know you aren't welcome in the room until after the baby is here. He ended up leaving work and driving me to the hospital. But once we got there, labor wasn't progressing. I was stuck at 3 and my contractions were steadily 10 minutes apart. They sent me home and told me to return once they were 5 minutes or less apart. On the way home, my husband again said, "Are you sure they aren't just Braxton Hicks?" Mind you, this was after the nurses confirmed I was in labor. When we got home, my husband decided he was going to go hunting and to let him know if labor gets worse. He left me alone, willingly to care for our 2YO while I was laboring. My contractions got down to 5 minutes apart. I texted to let him know, and all he said was, "What do you want me to do about it?" He ended up shooting a deer and had me outside in the cold, taking pictures of him with the deer, while contracting every 5 minutes. I didn't feel ready to go back to the hospital yet, so I put the 2YO to bed and we went to sleep. In the morning, my contractions were still at 5 mins. I took a bath, took a walk, tried eating, and nothing was happening, so I told him we needed to go back to the hospital. By the time we got there, they were between 3 and 4 minutes apart, but all my husband could talk about was the stupid deer and how he was going to get it to the butcher and taxidermist. Once they took me back to the OR, repeat C-section. My husband was really supportive. I have underlying health conditions, and he was very attentive, making sure the anesthesiologist knew about everything going on. Unfortunately, my son came out not breathing. He had to immediately get transferred to a NICU at a different hospital. It was one of the most painful experiences I've had to go through altogether. And the next day, all I wanted was a milkshake. It sounds silly, I know. But after asking him multiple times, my husband never would drive up the road to get me one.